talking about here, where a brother has need of goods that you could supply. That's what he's talking about. And in those cases, loving words are not good enough. The tongues of men and of angels are nothing but noise if they aren't accompanied by love. Showing love is never easy. If it were, everyone would do it, right? But it's not easy. It always makes demands on us. It always calls us to go out of our way to help others. Remember the Good Samaritan? It made demands of him. Showing love will always cost you something. If it doesn't cost you something, you haven't really shown love. Think about that. It'll always cost you something. It may cost you time or effort. It may cost you money or other resources. It may cause you pain. It may restrict your liberty. You may have to surrender some desires, swallow some pride, some conveniences. You may have to suffer some annoyances. But showing love will always cost you some part of yourself. Because if you only do those things that yourself wanted to do in the first place, then how is that any different from selfishness? How is that any different from self-love, which is the only kind of love that the world knows? It's certainly not the kind of love that the Bible, not the kind of love that God shows to a world, dying to pride. The first law of love is dying to self, dying to the flesh, dying to the world, dying to pride. Someone has wisely said, if your God never calls on you to do anything you don't want to do, then your God is probably yourself. Amen. Love will always take something out of you. There will always be some part of you, some proud part of you, or a greedy part, or an angry part of you, or a lazy or a lustful part of you. But there will always be some fallen part of you that refuses to let go of what love is telling you to give away. But if you deny that selfishness, and if you release what will help another in their need, then whatever pride or greed or anger or other vice is clinging on to that gift that you're giving away, then that fallen urge, selfishly clinging on to it, will be given away along with the gift. When you give away your money, you give away some portion of greed that wanted to hang on to it. When you give away your effort, then you're giving away some of the laziness that didn't want to bother. When you give away your time, you're giving away a portion of the impatience that was in too much of a hurry. When you give away your forgiveness, then you're having to let go of some anger that didn't want to give it. When you give your submission, you're letting go of some pride, and on and on. And the more of self that you give away, the more room for God you open up in your soul. And the more His love is shed abroad in your heart. And the more His Spirit controls your life. And the more that God fills you, the deeper He makes you. Selfish people are shallow souls. But selfless people have a depth to them. And just as depravity is a pit that has no bottom, so love is an entire inner verse that has no boundaries at all.